The tip everybody always wants to talk about, how to hit your driver. So I have 4 keys for you here. 1 setup key, 3 swing keys. And one myth that addressed that I think a lot of the top influencers actually get a little bit confused and wrong in terms of how we hit up on a ball. Because the driver, when it hits up on a ball, will reduce the spin on the ball. When it lands, it'll roll way farther. You'll get more distance, especially if we can close the face, hit draws, and de-loft it a little bit more. All right? So they hit up on a ball, because most bad golfers, not only do they have bad contact, but they just hit down on the ball instead of up. We're going to go over those 4 keys. The first main key to talk about that is a myth in what a lot of the major influencers are discussing at address. Is it that we tilt with our spine way backwards, or is there a neck tilt that helps us do this? It's really neck tilt, and I show this later in a video on Trackman with 4 of the tour pros I put in that thumbnail with Anna Norquist, Xander Schauffele, Brooks Koepka, and as well Yanni Tseng, all great players on both the PGA Tour and the LPGA Tours, in terms of how it address that they have mostly a neutral spine setup with a slight neck tilt. Because at impact, it's really the neck tilt that we get with our right chin getting closer to our right collar, right clavicle in transition that helps get our spine to lean backwards so that we can hit more up on it. So that first key, that one address key, is going to actually not be just the neck tilt, but to lean the shaft backward at address. Watch my ball position video. It discusses how each club has a way that the shafts lean and how the club sits flat on the ground, okay? So to do that, it's not by having our wrists a little bit more forward in flexion, but to actually let our wrists more cup, bend, extend backwards, all right? So we get the toe more on the ground, and we can lean that shaft more backwards at address. So when we step, little step, we keep that shaft leaning more backwards, and we also can do our neck tilts just the slightest bit, but not our spine tilts. If we really do this with our spine, which a lot of the major influencers put out there, most players that are amateurs in actual putting this into practice tip-wise will just hit the ground way early, chunk the ever-living crap out of it, and usually bounce off the ground, either topping it big time or heeling it, doing a lot of bad stuff. But really, in essence, you just hit the ground so early, let's call that a major chunk, okay? So when you lean your spine back like this at address, you're really just putting all your weight in your back leg. Most players make that tip a disaster. So it's just lean the shaft backwards here at address, slight neck tilt, even twisting the head a little to the right, close for rise would be great. Step as we address that ball. Now we're at least ready to hit up on it from an address position. That's key 1 and the address key, the 3 swing keys. On transition, I mentioned it, key 2, as we get to here, that neck tilt. That already allows the spine to tilt backwards. Key 3, line up the shaft. The shaft can't be forward pressed. You'll hit more down on it, okay? And if you get your neck tilt this way, you'll also hit more down on it in transition. Probably swing more out to in and more over the top. So a lot of players, the reason they swing so out to in over the top is they get that neck tilt going to the left, all right? And then they're hitting that ball very much on a downward blow instead of an upward blow. So key 1, lean the shaft back at address with neck tilts. Key 2 on the downswing, neck tilt here. You can do the drill, go to sleep, where you take your lead arm, put it on your right shoulder, and you'll hit just small little shots just like this, all right? Trying to, key 3, line the shaft up, okay? Can't have it forward press, so your wrist and hands and arms actions are how they whip that shaft into a more lined up object where then it's even leaning backwards a little to hit more up on it. That can be our tabletop drill. So you have your go to sleep drill and you have your tabletop drill where you pretend there's a table. You could even lean it on a table here. And at the point of the middle of the table, you wouldn't want to have your handle way forward. You'd already want to sling it out and line up that shaft. I used to call it kill the person with the golf club. If you had somebody in front of you in your house in the middle of the night, you wouldn't go like this as you try to hit them. No, you'd swing that thing straight through their head, bend that left arm, and wham, knock their head straight off, right? Create a large whoosh. So you can do this for speed too. Trying to create large whooshes. Understand? All right, so last key, key 4, Tour Pro finish. Key 1, lean it back, neck tilt, right? Key 2, transition, neck tilt. Key 3, line it up. Key 4, Tour Pro finish with a crescent moon shape. Let me show what that looks like also down the line. Crescent moon shape. All right. Put those 4 keys into action. You will be able to swing the fastest you've ever swung, hit some bombs, hopefully close the face a little bit better, learn to hit some draws. Whoa, I got that one. That's perfect. Ooh, surprised that didn't go even farther. All right. 298. Right down the middle with a little draw, 113 speed. Huh. Must have been just a little spinny on the ball. All right. Watch the video right after this to get even more insight into what I did there and what great players do with those 4 awesome keys and that one myth now debunked that we don't need to lean our body way off to the right side like that, our trail side. Ask questions. Please make this a community. Like, follow, share, tell everybody, and hopefully you enjoyed the new remake of this video with the audio as well, the new video camera, etc. Definitely let me know what's going on, guys. Go get at it. Looking at the 3 keys here. Key 1 at address. Are the tour pros and players like myself really taking that spine and making a massive axis tilt away from the golf ball? Or is it more the neck tilt that we're looking at with these players? Okay? That's what's going to help players to be able to hit up on the ball, along with the other key of lining the shaft up at impact, maybe even slightly letting the club head past the handle, as well as a Tour Pro finish. All right? When we look at the best players in the world, let's go through the addresses first. We'll go through those 4 players that I had mentioned before. So we had first Anna Norquist. Let's look at her from face on just to see if there's that massive axis tilt that a lot of the influencers say there is. Doesn't look like it to me. Definitely neck tilt there, right? Let's even watch that swing of hers. There's centered pivot. And right there, we start to see that neck tilt start to just shift maybe a little bit. Yep. All right, start drawing that line right through that middle of that nose and that chin. Start seeing that, and that shaft line up. Even be a little bit where the club head passes the actual handle. And then Tour Pro finish. Okay, let's go to that next player, Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka from a face-on perspective. All right, same concept. Swings a little out to in. Let's even go full screen on these. Do we see a massive axis tilt in that spine? Not really. Subtle. I'm not saying there's not an axis tilt. Definitely a shoulder tilt because this hand is higher than the other hand in terms of lead left hand versus trail right hand. Let's go to the top. I can definitely see a neck tilt that we're already starting to develop there. That's one thing I want players to realize. That's a key. Key 1. So right there. Now look at that neck tilt. Goes right back to that right shoulder, right clavicle, his right collar, right? And he's going to line that shaft up. Okay. Gets that shaft almost leaning backwards at impact. Now he actually gets a little down on the ball because he's a fade player. And Tour Pro finish. All right. Certain arm structure and concepts we're going to keep going on over there in my videos. All right. Especially that beautiful knee forward finish. All right. Now let's go over to Xander. We'll end with Yanni. Xander's great driver of the golf ball. Again, is there a massive axis tilt? I mean, I definitely see with maybe there is 1 or 2 players that have a little bit more axis tilt than others, but with the spine tilt, it's not what a lot of the influencers are putting out there to help you hit up on the ball. Most players will end up chunking it with that piece of advice, but they definitely get that club head flat on the ground, and that loft correctly set up for the right launch with definitely appropriate ball positions. Okay, and let's get to the top. Let's watch that neck tilt. Key 1, bam, right there. They twist that neck just perfectly to that right shoulder. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Line up the shaft. Key 2, boom, hits the ground even a little early. Knocks the tee out. Right at impact here, you can see how the club head is definitely passing the handle on the hands, hitting more up on the ball, right? This would be a club that came more up into the golf ball. We'll try and draw that one more time with the blue in terms of what it probably looked like. All right, let's see that. Boom, that's with that club. Ooh, that was pretty good, coach. Yeah, there it is. Bam, Tour Pro finish. All right, structure, things we're going to go over. And then Miss Yanni Sang, great player, right? One of the greats ever on the LPGA. Again, does Yanni have this massive axis tilt right here at the address point? Not that much. Not that much. Little neck tilt. Little neck tilt. Spine's definitely a line. I call that geometrical symmetry. Right? The spine should align. Right? First, her head actually went a little the other way. Now watch. As she gets this way, boom. Right on that transition. They all make that neck tilt for the most part so they can get that spine tilt to then start leaning back. All right? But then they got to line that shaft up with their wrist and hands, that tabletop drill. Okay? And then Tour Pro finish. All right? Like, follow, share, ask questions. Let me know what questions and comments you have. Hope the remake of this video was a little bit more helpful. Take care, guys. Go get them.